Today we are going to start with Science Part 2, first chapter, next article. It is vestigial organs. Vestigial organs means either degenerated or underdeveloped useless organs of organism. They are called as vestigial organs. What happens actually in living organisms? Sudden development of new tissues or organs for living in changing environment is not possible. Instead, existing organs, so whatever organs exist, these organs undergo gradual changes. Mostly, a specific organ in the body is useful under certain situation. However, some structure under different situation may become useful or even harmful. Such structure begins to degenerate under such situation as per the principle of natural selection. You have already studied natural selection. It takes thousands of years for a structure to disappear. Such organs are seen in different phases of disappearance in different animals. Such organs, though they are non-functional in certain organisms, may be functional in other organisms. It is not vestigial to those organisms, but they are useful organs for them. For example, appendix. Can you see the appendix here? For example, appendix which is useful to human is appendix which is useless to human is useful and fully functional organs in ruminants. मराठीमध्ये ज्याला रुमिनंट्स म्हणजे रवंथ करणारे प्राणी, ज्याला आपण गाई म्हशी यांना रुमिनंट्स असं म्हणू शकतो. Similarly, muscles of ear pinna. Here you can see the pinna. External ear can be called as pinna. So, our pinna is immovable. Immovable means which is not moving. It is vestigial to us, but same pinna is useful to other animals because it is movable. Various vestigial organs like tailbone. Tailbone, here it is a tailbone, as well as wisdom teeth. मराठीमध्ये ज्याला आपण अक्कलदाढ असं म्हणतो, wisdom teeth, as well as body hair. Body hair, they are useful to organisms for protection purpose, but for us it is not at all useful as a protection purpose. As we are studying evidences of evolution, in which you have already studied morphological evidences, anatomical evidences, vestigial organs. Now we will study next evidence as paleontological evidence. Now here we will see that the remnants means remains of dead animals, remnants and impressions मराठीमध्ये आपण म्हणू त्यांचे ठसे, दगडांवर वगैरे त्या प्राण्यांचे उमटलेले ठसे. So remnants and impressions of such organism remain preserved underground. These are called as fossils. फॉसिल्सला मराठीमध्ये आपण म्हणतो जीवाश्म. अश्मयुगीन काळामध्ये असणाऱ्या जीवांचे ते डेड रिमेन्स आहे. Such fossils are important aspects in the study of evolution. For paleontological evidences, carbon dating method is used. Carbon consumption of animals and plants stops after death, and since then only a decaying process of carbon-14 occurs continuously. Last year you have studied isotopes. So carbon-14, carbon-12, these are the isotopes of carbon. So only carbon 14 decaying process occurs continuously. In case of dead bodies of plants and animals, instead of remaining constant, the ratio between carbon 14 and carbon 12, those two isotope, changes continuously, as carbon 12 is non-radioactive. The time passed since the death of a plant or animal can be calculated by measuring the radioactivity of, which is the radioactive substance, carbon 14, and ratio of carbon 14 to carbon 12 present in their body. This is called as carbon dating method. It is used in paleontology and anthropology, which are the two branches of science for determining the age of human fossils and manuscripts. Once the age of fossil can be determined by such technique, it becomes easy to deduce the information about other organism. It seems that vertebrates have been slowly originated from invertebrates. You can see it in the diagram. This diagram suggests that in paleontology, first of all, invertebrates like starfish, snails, etc. can be seen to the lowermost surface or lowermost layer of the earth, whereas after invertebrates you can see Pisces. Pisces means मराठीमध्ये आपण मासे असं म्हणतो. Pisces, then reptiles, and it is amphibia, not amhibia. So then amphibia, and the topmost layer is of aves. Aves means birds as well as mammals. So look at, these are different era. First era, it is Paleozoic era. Second era, it is Mesozoic era, and the topmost, it is Cenozoic era. So here we are with another evidence of evolution, and it says that all organisms have a common ancestor, and that evidence is nothing but connecting links. Link or a connection between two groups or two phylums of organisms. Some plants and animals show some morphological character by which they can be related to two different groups. Hence, these animals are called connecting links between those two different groups. Here some examples are given to you. Peripatus, it shows similarity between Annelida as well as Arthropoda. So these are two phylums. Peripatus shows characters of Annelida as well as Arthropoda. Duck-billed platypus, so it lays eggs. So it lays eggs like reptiles, but shows relationship with mammals also due to the presence of mammary glands and hair. Another example which is given to you, it is lungfish. As the name indicate lung, this fish have lung. As we all know, fish respire through gills, but this particular lungfish performs respiration with the help of lungs, irrespective of being fish. These examples indicate that mammals are evolved from reptiles and amphibians. Mammals are evolved from reptiles and amphibians are evolved from fishes. So here we come to the end of connecting links.